Good morning, friends. In our last lecture, we started discussing the taxability of allowances. There, we selected HRA for a discussion. House rent allowance is eligible for exemption under 1013A. After exemption, what is left is the taxable HRA. For enjoying exemption under 1013A, following conditions are to be fulfilled. Employee should not stay in his own house and employee should pay rent. The quantum of exemption is list of the following: rent minus 10% of salary, specified percentage of salary, HRA received. Specified percentage depends upon where the house is located. Employee is residing in a house, where that house is located, that will decide the specified percentage. If the house is located in Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata or Delhi, 50%. If it is any other place, 40%. And salary for this purpose is basic salary plus dearness allowance if the terms of employment so provide, fixed percentage commission on turnover achieved by the employee. This is salary, and salary for this purpose is determined on due basis. That means advance salary received should be ignored. Only salary pertaining to the current year should be considered. Here, factors influencing HRA exemption. Factors influencing HRA exemption, 4 in number: rent, salary, place where the house is located, and the quantum of HRA received, amount of HRA. These are the factors influencing HRA exemption. How do we know? Rent minus 10% of salary, specified percentage of salary, HRA received. List of the three is exempt. So rent is there, salary is there, place where the house is located is there, HRA received is there. So these are the factors influencing. See, there are two possibilities. Number one, none of the factors supra has undergone change during the previous year. None of the factors supra has undergone change, triangle put a change during the previous year. All are some of the factors, all are some of the factors supra have undergone change during the previous year. All or some of the factors have undergone change during the previous year. Where none of the factors have undergone change during the previous year, that is possibility number 1, exemption shall be computed on an annual basis. Exemption shall be computed on annual basis. Exemption shall be computed on annual basis. Where all or some of the factors have undergone change, exemption should be computed on monthly basis. Computed on monthly basis. I'll explain this with the help of a problem, no worry. This is regarding manner of computation of HRA exemption. Manner of computation of HRA exemption. Manner of computation of HRA exemption. So, whether it should be computed on a monthly basis or it should be computed on an annual basis, it all depends upon the possibilities. None of the factors have undergone change during the previous year. Exemption should be on an annual basis. Where some of the factors have undergone change, exemption should be on a monthly basis. Now, we will do some illustrations. One. There, the facts are as under. Assessee is X. Assessment year is 1920. X is employee of X Limited. Employee of X Limited. Place of posting where is posted? Delhi. Place of residence where he is residing? Noida. He is residing in Noida. Remuneration details. Remuneration details. He is getting basic salary. Basic salary is 60,000 per annum and is getting HRA 9,000 per annum. Okay, these are the details. Now additional information. This man he received rupees 5,000 as advance salary of April 2020. Rent paid for his house. Is rupees 12,000 per annum. This 12,000 per annum. These are all the details available. Now let us quantify the taxable HRA. We are going to quantify what? The taxable HRA. Computation of taxable HRA. There HRA received. How much HRA is received? 9,000 minus exemption under 1013A. Whether he has fulfilled conditions? Yes, he is not staying in his own house, he has paid rent, he is entitled to exemption. Balance is taxable HRA, which is 1 minus 2. Now we need to quantify the exemption under 1013A. Exemption under 1013A. Okay, now listen to me. None of the factors influencing HRA exemption has undergone change. Rent is static, salary is static, HRA is static, and the place where he resides is also static. Least of the following is exempt. List of the following is exempt. There, number 1, rent minus 10% of salary. Rent is how much? 12,000. From that I shall reduce 10% of salary, will come to that. He is posted in Delhi, but that is not relevant. What is relevant is where he resides. He is residing in Noida. So which is not Chennai, Delhi or Calcutta or Mumbai. So therefore I shall take 40% of salary and I shall take HRA, 3 things. How much HRA is received? 9,000. Then I shall find 40% of salary. So salary for this purpose three in number. Basic salary is 60,000. Basic salary 60,000. Next is dearness allowance to the extent considered for retirement benefits. No information. Fixed percentage commission on turnover achieved. Nothing. So salary for this purpose works out to 60,000. Salary for this purpose is 60,000. On 60,000, 40% is what? 24,000. On 60,000, 10% is what? 6,000. So item 1 is 6,000. 12,000 minus 6,000, 6,000. 6,000 or 24,000 or 9,000. The least of the three is 6,000. This is exam. So I shall take 6,000 as exam. The taxable HRA is 3,000. Taxable HRA is 3,000. So this is how we shall apply the format for computing the taxable HRA. Taxable HRA. Come to illustration number 2. Illustration number 2. Facts are as under. Assessee is X. Is resident of Ajmer. And pay package there the details are as under. He is having basic salary of 1,92,000 per annum. Then he is getting dearness allowance 19,200 per annum. Then he is getting 7% commission on sales made. 7% commission on sales made. Sales made by him during previous year 1920 is 86,000. These are all his pay details, and he is getting HRA. His HRA is 24,000 per annum. These are all his pay package details. Note: rent paid by him is 21,500 per annum. Rent paid is 21,500 per annum. These are all the basic facts. Now we need to compute the taxable HRA. Compute the taxable HRA. Computation of taxable HRA. There the format is this: HRA received, exemption under 1013A, taxable HRA 1 minus 2. HRA received is how much? 24,000. Now we need to quantify the exemption. Exemption under 1013A, least of the following is exempt. Number 1, rent minus 10% of salary. Here, what you need to know, he is not staying in his own house, he is paying rent. So, he is entitled to HRA exemption. Rent paid by him is 21,500 minus 10% of salary I shall compute. He is staying in Ajmer, so 40% of salary I should take. Then HRA received is 24,000. The list is exempt, so I shall compute salary, then this is over. Now computation of salary. Salary for this purpose. Salary for this purpose. 3 things. 1, basic salary, dearness allowance if it is considered for retirement benefits, and fixed percentage commission on turnover. Commission, CM the commission. The basic salary is how much? Given in the question as 1,92,000. 1,92,000. The dearness allowance considered for retirement benefits 19,200. Fixed percentage commission turnover is 86,000. On that you are entitled to 7% commission into 7%. So 86,000 into 7% is 6020. 4 is salary for this purpose. 1 plus 2 plus 3. It is 1,92,000 plus 19,200 plus 6020. It is 217,220. This is salary. On this salary, 40% is 86,888. On this, 10% is 217,222. 217,222. So this becomes a negative figure. So made as 0. So exemption is 0. Entire HRA is taxable. Entire HRA is taxable. Rent minus 10% of salary has become negative. So therefore that is 0. So least is 0 and nothing is exempt. Entire amount is taxable. So this is illustration number 2. Illustration number 3. Illustration number 3. Asasi is X, is resident of Pune. Resident of Pune, and his basic salary $42,000 per annum. Okay, is getting HRA which is $250 per month. 250 per month. These are the two elements in his remuneration package. He doesn't receive anything. In the previous year 1920, from 1st April 2019 to 31st October 2019, rent paid is 0. He stayed with his father. So, no rent. From 1st November to 31st March 2020, for this period, the rent paid is rupees 2000 per month. Rent is 2000. Now we need to quantify the taxable HRA. We need to quantify the taxable HRA. Computation of taxable HRA. Computation of taxable HRA. First, HRA received. HRA received. Next is exemption under 1013A. What we get is taxable HRA. Taxable HRA. HRA received is how much? 250 into 12. 3000 rupees he has received by way of HRA. Now I need to quantify the exemption under 1013A. Here, one of the factors that influence HRA exemption rent was 0 for some part of the year, it was 2000 for some part of the year. Where all are some of the factors influencing HRA exemption undergoes change, you should compute on a monthly basis. Compute on a monthly basis. Computation on a monthly basis is on a monthly basis. There, rent minus 10% of salary, 40% of salary, because Pune na HRA received ellam per month. HRA per month is 250. Salary 42,000 is for 1 year divided by 12 into 40%, which is 42,000 divided by 12, 1 month salary into 40%, 1400. Rent is 2000 for 1 month minus 10% of salary. 10% of salary. Salary is 42,000 divided by 12, 3,500. Other 10% is 350. which is 1650. Do you understand how I compute 350? This is 42,000 divided by 12, 1 month salary, into 10 percentage, into 10 percentage. This is how it was computed. 2000 minus 350, 1650. Then 40% of salary, 1400. HRA is 250. The least of the three is what? 250. This is exam. This is exam. But what is to be noted is this. Note. Previous year 1920 la from April to October, from April to October, November to March, November to March. Like this I am dividing. This is the period for which no rent paid. Appo HRA pertaining to this period is not exempt. One of the condition not satisfied. HRA pertaining to this period is not exempt. HRA pertaining to this period is not exempt. For this period, HRA exemption is available. HRA exemption is 250 into November, December, Jan, Feb, March, 5 months. 1250 rupees is the exemption under 1013A. And a per month exemption is 250. And HRA exemption for 5 months is 1250. And this is only the exemption we are providing under 1013A. And here 1250 is the exemption. Balance is the taxable HRA. Balance is the taxable HRA. For this period, no rent is paid, so no exemption in respect of HRA. Here, HRA exemption is available because rent is paid, and per month HRA exemption is 250. 250 into 5 months, 1250. Balance is taxable. So this is illustration number 3. So this is a case where we compute on a monthly basis because the factors influencing HRA have undergone change. Illustration number 4. Illustration number 4. Assessee is X, is employee of A Limited, is employee of A Limited. There is employee of A Limited till what time? Till 30th November 2019. Till 30th November 2019. Then the same X B Limited on 1st December 2019. Join B Limited on 1st December 2019. Then this is to show that he was working with two companies in the same year. He was posted where in Delhi? Place of posting Delhi. Here the place of posting is Amritsar. The place of posting is Amritsar. Now, remuneration details I am going to give. From A Limited, his remuneration are as follows. Basic salary 4,000 per month. This was till 31st May 2019. From 1st June 2019, it was 5,000 per month. It was 5,000 per month. Then the dearness allowance, it is 30% of basic salary. 30% of basic salary. Adile 60% is considered for retirement benefits. For retirement benefits. Then he is getting commission. Commission how much? 30,000. Fixed. Not fixed percentage commission, fixed commission. And he was getting 40,000. He was getting 30,000 and 40,000. And he was getting HRA 2,000. $3,500. All are per month. Details per month. Okay. These are his remuneration details. Now he joined B Limited and he was posted in Amritsar. There basic salary is 10,000 per month. He is getting dearness allowance 8,000 per month. Only 5% is considered for retirement benefits. Only 5% is considered for retirement benefits. And is getting HRA of 6,000 per month. And is getting a fixed commission of 45,000 per month. Is getting a fixed commission of 45,000 per month. These are all his pay package from B Limited. From whom? B Limited. Then rent paid, details of rent payment. Details of rent payment. Delhi how much rent is paid? In Amritsar how much rent is paid? These details are available. From 1st January 2019 to 31st July 2019, rent in Delhi is 500 per month. From 1st August 2019 to 31st December 2019, rent is 2,900 per month. For January 2020, the rent was 1,000 in Amritsar per month. Then February and March 2020, in Amritsar the rent was 6,000 per month. Required, determine the taxable HRA. Determine the taxable HRA. Information I am consolidating. Mr. X was employee of A Limited till 30th November 2019 and he was posted in Delhi, and his salary details are as under: till May 4,000 per month, from 1st June 5,000 per month. He is getting DA of 30% of basic salary, 60% is considered out of that for retirement benefits, fixed commission, HRA is given. Then place of posting Amritsar. If he has joined B Limited, he is posted in Amritsar. He joined on 1st December 2019. Basic salary 10,000 per month, DA is 8,000 per month. Only 5% is considered for retirement benefits. HRA is 6,000 per month. Fixed commission 45,000 per month. Details of rent paid. These details are available for a different period. Now we need to quantify the taxable HRA. Here, computation of taxable HRA. Computation of taxable HRA. There, the first step is HRA received, then exemption under 1013A, balance is taxable HRA. Balance is taxable HRA. How much is the HRA received? I will tell you. HRA received is 2,000 rupees for April and May from whom? A Limited. It is 2000 per month till May, April and May 2000. Plus from June onwards HRA is 3500, but it is only till November. June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months. 3500 into 6. Plus he joined which company? B Limited. Their HRE is how much? 6000. From which month? December, Jan, Feb, March. 4 months. 6000 into 4. So this is the HRA received from A Limited and B Limited for a different time periods. Here 3500 into 6, 21,000 plus 24,000, 6,000 into 4 plus 2,000. So 47,000 is the HRA received totally. Now we need to avail exemption under 1013A. Approach is monthly basis. Exemption on monthly basis. Exemption is available on a monthly basis. Why? Because rent has changed during the relevant year. Salary has changed, HRA has changed, place of residence also changed, all factors have changed. Since all factors influencing HRA exemption changed. Fine. Now let us compute the HRA exemption. HRA exemption. Here we can simplify it this way also. There are 4 factors affecting HRA exemption. Factors affecting HRA exemption. Number 1, rent. Number 2, salary. Number 3, place of residence. Number 4 is HRA amount. These are all the factors. These factors are same for which period we need to ascertain first. Let us see rent first. Rent is same for April, May, June, July. 4 months rent same. For those 4 months, salary is not same. April, May 1 salary, June and July 1 salary. HRA is also different. Okay, the place of posting same. So therefore, we cannot take for 4 months. We can take April and May 1 slot. April and May, this is the period where all factors are same. All factors are same. April and May rent is same. April May salary is same, HRA is same, place of posting is same, a place of residence is same. So April and month, 1 unit of computation. June and July, can we add? Let us see. June and July, rent is same. June and July, salary is same, HRA is same, place of residence is also same. But August I cannot add into that slot because rent changes. June and July, 1 slot, because rent is same, salary is same, place of residence is same, HRA is same. I cannot add August into it because for August rent is different. See, I am dividing the previous year into such a number of time slots where all the 4 factors are same. August to, let us see, August to December rent is same. August to November salary is same, HRA is same, place is also same. So I should take only up to November. August to November, this is 1 slot. In August to November, salary, rent is same. August to November, salary is same, HRA is same, place of residence is also same, same factors. December and January rent is not same. So I cannot add any month into this slot. Then December month rent and January month rent are not same. So therefore December is a tani slot, separate slot. January month and February month rent are not same, 1000 and 6000. So that is a separate slot. February and March, for these 2 months, rent same? Yes. For these 2 months, salary same? Yes. HRA same? Yes. Place of residence same? Yes. So all the 4 factors are same. So thus, previous year 1920 is divided into 6 slots where all the 4 factors are same. I am dividing the previous year 1920 into 6 slots, and in each of the slots all the 4 factors are constant. They don't change within that slot. April and May rent is same, but if I add June month rent, no, it is not same. June month rent is different. June and July I can pack as 1 slot. I cannot add August. Why? Rent is different. That way, these are all slots where the factors are same. I am not clubbing anything into this slot and this slot because December month I cannot add Jan into this because rent is different. I cannot add February here, rent is different. So I have divided the previous year into such a number of slots where the factors are same. Now we can compute the HRA exemption for each of these slots. Quantification of HRA exemption quantification of HRA exemption. There particulars, one slot April and May, another slot June and July, another slot August to November, another slot December, another slot January, another slot February and March. Like this, I have decided the period for which I am going to do the computation. There, first information is we shall compute salary. Salary computation, basic salary we will take, relevant dearness allowance. Relevant dearness allowance only we will take. Okay. Then percentage commission on turnover. What we get is salary 1 plus 2 plus 3. Okay. On that we shall compute 10%. Then we shall write rent. Then we shall take rent minus 10% of salary. Then specified percentage on salary, 40% or 50% depending upon the place where he resides. Then HRA. Then lease staff 7, 8 and 9. Number of months in the slot. Exemption under 1013A. Exemption under 1013A. This is the format in which we are going to do the computation. We'll come to this in few minutes. Before that, in the previous year 1920, okay, there are different slots. One is April to November. Next is December. Next is January to March. Why I am dividing so? Listen. Here, place of posting Delhi, Amritsar. And till November he was with A Limited, so posted in Delhi. Place of residence. Place of residence. This is also Delhi. December also he was residing in Delhi only. Here residence is also Amritsar. How do we know? I'll tell you. See the facts of the question. This man, he was working with A Limited till 30th November, posted in Delhi. So that means till November posted in Delhi, no doubt. From 1st December is posted in Amritsar. Place of posting is Amritsar. But if you see the rent payment details, from January onwards rent is paid in Amritsar. Up to December rent is paid in Delhi. Up to December rent is paid in Delhi. From this what do we understand? Till November place of posting is also Delhi, place of residence is also Delhi. From January to March the place of posting is also Amritsar, place of residence is also Amritsar. But for December month alone, place of posting is what? Amritsar. But place of residence is what? Delhi. Because he has paid rent in Delhi, not paid rent in Amritsar. Therefore, he was residing in Delhi but was posted in Amritsar. Perhaps he would have been traveling between Delhi and Amritsar in the month of December. Okay, for employment purpose, he will be traveling every day. So this you need to note. So the specified percentage of salary for April to November, place of residence Delhi and all 50%. January to March, place of residence is Amritsar, 40%. But Delhi is the place of residence, place of posting is Amritsar, which I shall take place of residence. Place of residence, 50. So this is the specified percentage of salary I shall apply for that slots, that slot. This clarity you should be having. Fine. Now let us take the information for computation. Now his basic salary is 4,000 per month till May. Okay, all per month details hachikla per month. April and May basic salary 4,000. June to July, June and July per month basic salary is 5,000. August to November per month basic salary is 5,000. December basic salary is what? 10,000. January basic salary is what? 10,000. February and March basic salary per month is what? 10,000 per month. 10,000. Relevant DA per month. Relevant DA per month. The DA is 30% of basic salary, 1,200 per month. 1,500 per month. But out of that 60% is only considered for retirement benefits. 60% of 1,200, 720 is only relevant DA. And 1,500 into 60 percentage, 900 is only the relevant DA per month. Because entire DA is not considered, only 60% is considered for retirement benefits. So the relevant DA here per month is 720. How 720? 30% of basic salary, 1,200 is the DA, other 60% is 720, that is only considered per month. And here also 30% is 1,500, the 60% is 900 per month. Then December month DA is 8,000. But other 5% is only considered for retirement benefits, which is what? 400. So the DA, relevant DA per month is 400. Fixed percentage commission on turnover is not given. Fixed commission is given. Fixed percentage commission is not given. What is to be taken for salary is not fixed commission. It is a fixed percentage commission. Fixed percentage commission, that is not there. So salary is 4720 per month, everything per month. 5,900 per month, 5,900 per month, 10,400 per month, 10,400 per month. Here also 10,400 per month. This is salary. 10% of it is what? 472, 590, 590, 1040, 1040, 1040. This is 10%. And rent per month. April and May rent is what? 500. See, rent per month. April and May 500. Rent for June and July per month is also 500. Rent for August to November 2,900 per month. For December also rent is what? 2,900. 2,900. For January rent is what? 1,000. For February and March rent per month is what? 6,000. Per month is what? 6,000. So this is rent. Rent minus 10% of salary, 28. Here negative figure. Here 2310. Here rent minus 10% of salary is 1,860. 1,860. Here it is negative. 1,000 minus 1,040. Here it is 6,000 minus 1,040. 5,4960. 4960. 4960. This is the rent minus 10% of salary. Specified percentage of salary for April to December it is 50%. April to December 50%. Salary is 4720. Adala half is 2360. Here it is 2950. 2950. This is specified percentage of salary. 50%. Here it is what? 50%, 50% of salary. Here also it is 2950. 50% of the salary. 50% of 5,900. Then December also 50% only. I explained, na? Posting residences in Delhi, December. It is 5,200. 5,200. Here it is 40%. 40%. 40% of salary is 4,160. 4,160. This is 40%. HRA per month. April and May HRA is what? 2,000 per month. Everything is per month details, na? Per month. Then HRA for June and July. June and July is 3,500 per month. And here also it is 3,500 per month. From December onwards, HRA 6,000 per month. 6,000. Least of 7, 8 and 9. 7, 8 and 9. Least is what? 28. Here negative na made as 0, 0. Here list of 7, 8, 9 na 2, 3, 1, 0, 2, 9, 5, 0, 3500 is 2, 3, 1, 0. List of the 3 is 1860, 5200, 6000, 1860. Here least, this is 0 na, 0. 4960, 4160, 6000, the list is what? 4160. This is the least. This is the exemption per month in each of these slots. In April and May, how many slots? 2 months. In June and July, how many months? 2 months. August, September, October, November. How many months? 4 months. August, September, October, November. December 1 month. January 1 month. February 2 months. So exemption is 28 into 2. This is exemption per month into 2. 56. This is 0. This is 2310 into 4. 9240 1860 0 4160 into 2 8320 8320. This is the exemption. So 56 is the exemption for this slot. 9240 is the exemption for this slot. 1860 is the exemption for December month. 8320 is the exemption for February and March. So the total exemption is 56 plus 9240 plus 1860 plus 8320. 8320. Total 56 plus 9240 plus 1860 plus 8320. Once again, 56 9240 1860 8320. Total 19476 is the exemption. The taxable HRA is 47,000 minus 19476 is 27,524. 27,524. This is the taxable HRA. Say once again I will consolidate the entire problem so that you don't have any difficulty. Illustration number 4. Asas is X is employee of A Limited till 30th November. Posted where in Delhi. And his basic salary, DA, commission, HRA, etc. till May is different. From June it is different. Then he joined B Limited on 1st December 2019. Posted where in Amritsar. Basic salary is 10,000 per month. DA is 8,000 per month. Only 5% is considered for retirement benefits. HRA is 6,000 per month. Fixed commission is 45,000 per month. These are all the pay details. And where he paid rent, how much rent he paid for each of these months is given. In Delhi, he paid rent till December. Till July, the rent is 500 per month. From August to December, rent is 2,900 per month. Amritsar rent is 1,000 for January month. February and March, the rent is 6,000 per month. Determine the taxable HRA. HRA received totally from A Limited and B Limited for the entire year is 47,000. We need to quantify the exemption under 1013A, then we will get the taxable HRA. The approach is you should follow monthly basis computation because rent has changed, salary has changed, HRA has changed, place of residence has changed, all factors have undergone change. But instead of computing the HRA exemption each month, we can be shrewd. You can even compute every month. The answer will be the same. But we can simplify the entire exercise by grouping the months into such slots where the factors doesn't change. Okay, in April and May, rent, salary, place of residence, HRA has not changed. In June and July, rent, salary, place of residence, HRA has not changed. August to November, rent, salary, place of residence, HRA has not changed. But December and January does not match. So December is a separate slot. January, February and March doesn't match. So January is a separate slot. February and March one slot where all the four factors are same, doesn't change. Clear? So the factors are same in these slots. So I have divided the previous year into such a number of slots where the factors are constant. Factors are constant. Now I am computing the HRA exemption for each of these slots separately. Basic salary per month I have written. Relevant DA per month also written. DA is 30% of basic salary, 60% is relevant for computation. Everything per month I am writing. There is no turnover commission, there is only fixed commission, that is not relevant. Salary is computed, 10% of salary is computed. Rent per month is put down. Rent minus 10% of salary is also computed. Everything per month. Specified percent of salary per month also is done. Here, till December, the percentage is 50% because he stayed in Delhi. From January only, he is staying in Amritsar. Till April to November, he was posted in Delhi, residing in Delhi. January to March, posted in Amritsar, residing in Amritsar. But in December month alone, is posted in Amritsar, residing in Delhi. So till December 50%, thereafter 40%. Then I have written HRA per month. Least of the three I have written, multiplied by number of months in each slots to quantify the HRA exemption under 1013A for each of these slots. I have aggregated. Then I have reduced it from the HRA received. Balance is the taxable HRA. Balance is the taxable HRA. This is how the computation is to be made. With this, our discussion on HRA is over. HRA is over. Kindly go through. If you have any difficulty in grasping this illustration, go through the video 2 or 3 times also. Fine. We are going to discuss special allowances for which exemption is available under section 10 class 14. Special allowances eligible for exemption under 1014. Eligible for exemption under which section? 1014. These special allowances which are eligible for exemption under 1014, we divide them into two categories. Category 1, category 2. Allowances the exemption of which depends upon the expenditure for the purpose for which it is given. Allowances whose quantum of exemption depends on the amount spent on the purpose, the amount spent for the purpose for which it was given. Allowances whose quantum of exemption depends on the amount spent for the purpose for which it was given. This is category 1. Category 2. Allowances whose quantum of exemption is not dependent on the amount spent. Dependent on the amount spent for the purpose for which it is given. Allowances whose quantum of exemption is not dependent on the amount spent. Like this we can classify. Let us take category 1 allowances. Exemption is equal to amount spent for the purpose or amount of allowance whichever is less. Amount spent for the purpose or amount of allowance whichever is less will be the quantum of exemption. Quantum of exemption is what? Amount spent for the purpose or the amount of allowance whichever is less. I'll give you example, no worry. For category 2 allowances, the quantum of exemption is amount of allowance or amount specified in Rule 2BB. Amount of allowance or amount specified in Rule 2BB, whichever is less. Amount of allowance or amount specified in Rule 2BB, whichever is less, is the quantum of exemption. Sorry, what are all the allowances coming in category 1? What are all the allowances coming in category 1? This is regarding quantum of exemption. Now, which allowances do come under this category? Number 1, transfer allowance. Travel or tour allowance. Conveyance allowance. Conveyance allowance. Daily allowance. Helper allowance. Research allowance. Uniform allowance. Uniform allowance. These are all the allowances which come under category 1 The quantum of exemption depends upon the amount spent for the purpose for which it is given. What is travel or tour allowance? Where the employee's job profile requires him to travel frequently to different cities or towns in the country, he will be frequently on official tour na. For meeting the travel expenses, some allowance is given, that is called travel or tour allowance. Okay, when you are in official tour, for meeting the stay expenses, boarding, lodging expenses, day-to-day expenses, some daily bata is given, daily allowance, that is called daily allowance. Then if you are transferred from one location to another location, you are posted in a different place, then you need to pack your all personal effects, shift them to the new location, For meeting those expenses, some transfer allowance is given. Conveyance allowance, you are in marketing division. Frequently you will be traveling to different customers' place to meet the expenses which you are incurring in discharging the official duties on conveyance. They give you some allowance called conveyance allowance. Then you may hire a helper for discharging your official duties. For that your employer may give you allowance called helper allowance. Or if you are working in college or educational institution for carrying out academic research, okay, you may be given some allowance called research allowance. Okay, if you are a server or waiter, okay, in a hotel, or even if you are not so, your employer may require you to come in uniform. Then for purchasing the uniform cloth or for maintaining the uniform in good condition, they may give you some allowance. So that is called uniform allowance. So these are all allowances for which exemption is based on the amount spent for the purpose. Fine. Category 2 allowances. Category 2 allowances. These are all allowances, the quantum of exemption of which doesn't depend on amount spent. Number 1. Child education allowance. Hostel expenditure allowance. Transport allowance. Tribal area allowance. Then allowance for employees of transport companies. Allowance to employees of transport concerns. So what we are discussing is the various allowances which are coming in category number 2. So many allowances are given in category 2, but in the CA examination history, apart from this 5, none other is tested. Reason being, some range is given, difficult to remember. So therefore only this much is relevant for you. You need not worry about the other allowances given in category 2. Even though it is included in the institute study material, they have never tested. Verify the problems, past exam questions. You yourself will come to the same conclusion. Here, amount specified in Rule 2BB amount specified in Rule 2BB or the amount of allowance, whichever is less, is exempt. What is the amount specified in Rule 2BB? Na? Rupees 100 per month per child, restricted to 2 children. Restricted to 2 children. This is the amount specified in Rule 2BB. This much is exempt. Hostel expenditure allowance, it is 300 per month per child, restricted to 2 children. See, what is child education allowance? This is an allowance given to you by the employer for meeting the educational expenses of your children. Hostel expenditure allowance is given to the employee to meet the hostel expenditure of the children of the employee. Then transport allowance, it is 3,200 per month. Exemption only to employee who is blind or deaf and dumb or orthopedically handicapped. For those employees only this exemption in respect of transport allowance is available, which is what? 3,200 per month. 3,200 per month. Tribal area allowance is rupees 200 per month. It is 200 per month. Then allowances to employees of transport concern, it is 10,000 or 70%. It is 10,000 or 70% of allowance. 10,000 per month or 70% of allowance, whichever is less. If you are working in a transport corporation operating buses, or if you are working in railways, or if you are working in airline companies, you may be given this allowance. How much is exempt amount specified in Rule 2BB? Rule 2BB amount is 10,000 per month or 70% of the allowance, whichever is less. But exemption is available for this only when the employee is not in receipt of daily allowance. Is not in receipt of daily allowance. If he is in receipt of daily allowance, no exemption. So these are all category 2 allowances. Now we may do one problem here. Or I can say even illustration. One illustration. Allowance in the fifth illustration. This is 5. During The previous year 1920, the following allowances are given to X by the employer. Following allowances are given to X by the employer. Number 1, tribal area allowance for getting posted in Assam for 2 months, 1000. Tribal area allowance for getting posted in Assam for 2 months. Number 2, education allowance in relation to X elder son, 1800. Education allowance in relation to X younger son, 900. Education allowance in relation to X daughter, 1080. Hostel expenditure allowance in respect of X elder son, 6600. Transport allowance for commuting between office and residence, 42,000. Required, determine the quantum of taxable allowance. The quantum of taxable allowance. Determine the quantum of taxable allowance. This is the question. Let us take one by one for a discussion. First is tribal area allowance. This is category 1 or category 2? Category 2. Amount received 1000. Amount received is what? 1000. See, 1000. But that is for 2 months. So, exemption under 1014 read with rule 2BB For 1 month 200 is exempt into 2, 400. Taxable amount 1 minus 2, 600. This is regarding what? Tribal area allowance. This is regarding what? Tribal area allowance. Next is regarding the next allowance. We'll come to child education subsequently. Transport allowance next. Transport allowance 42,000 fully taxable. Why? Employee is not blind, employee is not deaf and dumb, employee is not orthopedically handicapped. No exemption under 1014. No exemption under 1014. Number 3, hostel expenditure allowance. Number 1, amount received is 6,600. Exemption under 1014 read with rule 2BB. It is restricted only for 2 children, but here it is given only for elder son, in respect of elder son. So no worry. 300 into 12, 3,600 is exemption. The taxable portion is 3,000. 1 minus 2. Number 4, child education allowance. Child education allowance. It is received in respect of 3 children. It is in respect of 3 children. Obviously, we can provide exemption only in respect of any 2 children. Any 2 children. Amount received. How much is received? It is 1,800 in respect of elder son, 900 in respect of younger son, and daughter it is 1,080. It is 1,080. Here 1,800 plus 900 plus 1,080, it is 3,780. 3,780. This is the amount received. Next is exemption under 1014. Read with rule 2BB. Balance is taxable amount 1 minus 2. Now, how do we quantify the exemption? How do we quantify the exemption? It is available only in respect of any 2 children of the choice of the employee. Exemption under 1014. read with rule 2BB. Here we have three options. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Enjoy the exemption in respect of sons, younger son and elder son, not in respect of daughter. Enjoy exemption in respect of elder son and daughter. Third option, enjoy exemption in respect of younger son and daughter. Enjoy the exemption in respect of younger son and daughter. Younger son and daughter. Three options. First, evaluate option number 1. We enjoy exemption in respect of the child education allowance received in respect of elder son and younger son. Here, the exemption will be under 1014 will be how much allowance is received in respect of elder son, 1800. So 100 into 12, 1200. Plus, enjoy the exemption in respect of younger son. Younger son evalo 900. But 100 into 12, 1200 cannot be exempt. What can be exempt is only fully 900. Okay, amount specified in rule 2BB are the amount of allowance whichever is exempt. Allowance is what? 900. Amount specified in rule 2BB is what? 100 into 12, 1200, which is less amount received. So, the exemption is 2100 in option number 1. In option number 2, exemption under 1014. What is option 2? Avail exemption in respect of elder son and daughter. Elder son amount received is what? 1800. Adila exempt is what? 1200. 100 into 12. Then enjoy exemption in respect of amount received from in relation to daughter. Daughter how much? 1080. 1080 is the amount received. 100 into 12, 1200 is the amount specified in rule 2BB, which is less 1080. So 1080 is exempt. So it is 2280 is the quantum of exemption. 2280 is the quantum of exemption. When we are enjoying exemption in respect of amount received in relation to elder son and daughter. Option 3. Exemption under 1014. Exemption under 1014. In option 3, we are enjoying exemption in relation to younger son and daughter. Younger son and daughter. Younger son amount received is what? 900. Amount specified in rule 2BB is what? 100 into 12, 1200, which is less, 900. Daughter, amount received is what? 1080. And what is the amount specified in rule 2BB? 100. 100 into 12, 1200 or 1080, which is less? 1080. So the exemption is 1980. Exemption is 1980. So in these three options, tell me where the exemption is highest. Exemption is highest in option number 2. What is option number 2? Avail exemption in respect of elder son and daughter. Elder son and daughter. So the quantum of exemption is 2280. Now the balance is 1500. Balance is what? 1500. 3780 corrected. This is the taxable portion. This is the taxable portion. So this is how the problem is to be solved. So you cannot mechanically say 100 into 2 into 12, 2400 is exempt. No. The amount of exemption cannot be more than the income. Correct? So you should only do this way. There are three options. There are three options this way. Okay. This is over. Next is, there is one more thing. Section 10, class 45. Section 10, class 45. It is providing exemption It is providing exemption to whom? It is providing exemption to the chairman and members of UPSC. UPSC என்ன? Union Public Service Commission. Union Public Service Commission. Union Public Service Commission. அதோட chairmanக்கு and membersக்கு this exemption is given. Exemption is in respect of sumptuary allowance. See, for entertaining the guest, some allowance may be given by the government. That is called sumptuary allowance. Because of their position, okay, when people, dignitaries come for a meeting, to entertain them, some amount will be spent by them. Coffee, snacks will be offered. For meeting that, government gives sumptuary allowance. That sumptuary allowance is exempt under section 10. Class 45, 10 class 45. So these things you need to know regarding allowances. So we have discussed the taxability of allowances. Now let me stop here. The next class we will discuss the taxation of leave salary, gratuity, pension, etc. Thank you. But before that, there are some problems given in the institute study material. Go through them. You will not have any difficulty. First 2 or 3 illustrations you can do on your own. Okay, and answer is also there in the institute study material only. Compared to what we have solved in the classroom, they are all substandard, so very easy. Go through. Then only your work is over.